sure.
Me too. No
Yeah.
problem. Seriously, no problem.
You mentioned after the game the other night the 3-point discrepancy again, and that's kind of come up a couple of times the last few games. Has there been anything that you've identified either to help you guys generate more threes, to help limit threes, something that could collectively, I guess, help close that gap?
Well, I think it's a little bit of what I said before. I mean, we're number one, and we're in at the rim shots. We're number one in free throws. You guys have done such a good job at doing those two things. It is going to limit our number of attempts at times. So I think I would start on the other end. First of all, if we can do a little better job of kind of everything defensively, starting out transition, locating transition threes, a little bit better job of communicating in some of our switching, and then just a lot of that's just can you get out there and make a really good hard challenge on the shots. I still say NBA defense comes down to your level of shot contest, and ours has to be better.
When you've been evaluating all the different lineups that you're experimenting with, how much do you go off of feel and just eye test, and how much are you looking at data? I realize that's going to be a small sample size at this point in the year, but how do you balance those two?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a number of things you got to, we're trying to calculate in. I think that sometimes it's the opponent and what the backcourt looks like. I mean, there's been a couple times where I thought Paul Reed's played so well, we should let him play some with Joel. But the team's playing 4 guards, like really guards, not even a wing guy for one of those 2 guys to match up on. So a little bit of that. Most of it is probably just gut feel of what you think the team could need. A lot of times it's you give some guys a chance that have shown some things in practice or in their last stint or whatever, and if that isn't their night, you throw in that next guy or whatever. But it's been a little tricky. It's been a little tricky to try to figure it out, but we'll keep going at it. We are trying to work on today. We worked on some certain lineups, just those guys, what are they going to execute and what are they going to be in defensively, because their lineups are changing quite a bit. But I'm going to make a big deal about every coach is going through that, right, with guys in and out. So,
Coach Nurse, how's it been to coach my man from Tennessee State? Robert to my man Rocco. How's it been, my guy?
It's been good. It's only been a few games, but it's been good. He obviously is with Oubre and Batum out, has worked his way into the starting lineup. And he's a versatile guy. He played pretty well. The other night he's a guy that can switch on defense, prides himself on that end. Started the game great with a couple of tip dunks on the offensive glass, so we were asking him to really get on the offensive glass, and he's doing that. And we really are going to need his spacing. He does have a perimeter 3-point shooting game, and anytime you have Joel Embiid, you're going to need those guys that can knock down the 3.
Coach, what are your thoughts on guys like Tyrese Maxey having a breakout season?
Well, I like it if he can do it. He seems like he's doing a good job. So we're in a, this is kind of his first time as full-time point guard, right? Starter, heavy minutes, balls in his hand. It's kind of his team to run. He's played very well. He's probably what people wondered was, can he create for others? What's his assist to turnover ratio going to look like? What's his organizational skills going to be as a point guard? And we probably thought we were going to have some growing pains with that, just because it's a big job in this league, as you know. His assist to turnover ratio has been unbelievable. He has had some big assist nights. He hasn't turned the ball over at all. He's growing every day in his game management skills and calling a game from the floor and things like that. So I think he's on his way to being, the next emerging star in this league. Yeah.
Coach, you're about almost a month into the early start to your career as the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. We've seen over the past 2 years, year and a half, a lot of success in Philly sports with the Phillies and the Eagles and the Sixers all supporting one another. What are your thoughts been so far on just the atmosphere of Philadelphia as a sports town and the Sixers fans?
It is a sports town, right? It is. People ask me all the time, like, what's the difference? And I say, well, they're concerned about sports, and sports, right? There's not too many people talking about, what musicals coming to town next week. That conversation, it's usually the Eagles and the Sixers and, what's going on with the sports team. My first grade son came home the first week of school and said he didn't like the Cowboys. And we'd never really talked about the NFL before, so that part of Philly's alive and well too. So they're doing good. But it's awesome. I love the energy. Everybody really is switched on to it for sure. I think it's great. It's I'm in sports and I love sports. I played a bunch of sports as a kid, and it's a cool place to be.
What are your thoughts on the in-season tournament now that it has started? What are you hearing from people around the league, maybe other staffs, how they're approaching it and your approach?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been probably pleasantly surprised at everybody's level of interest. I think like the first night out, I thought everybody was really tuned in to the first games. This is in-season night. I think it's really unique that they did it this way on the Fridays and Tuesdays. Again, I thought a lot of people were checking groups and looking where people are at. Our guys are talking about it. I like it. And I think they've probably, just from kind of my feel from it, just my opinion, but I think they've probably exceeded people's interest in it this early. I mean, we're 3 games into it, and I think there's been a lot of buzz about it.
Yeah, understanding that this is another night in your group
Yep.
that includes a team that already has 2 wins.
Yep.
I know you expect to win every game.
This
but
is a must-win for us
Yeah.
in the Cup tonight, for sure.
Now, what are your thoughts on the backcourt here in Atlanta as far as Trae Young and DeJounte are concerned? As the young lady mentioned, we've seen Maxey having a great
Yep.
season, great year to start so far, so it should be a pretty intense matchup. What are your thoughts on Trae Young and DeJounte?
Those guys are tough, man. They are explosive. Both of them can get their own bucket anytime they want to, at least get their own shot. It's a tremendous challenge. Right? They got an array of things they do. They score in the open floor, especially Trey's got the deep 3 and all the floaters and drawing fouls and all that stuff. DeJounte's got a lot of like craftiness to how he gets his buckets, side one way, back the other, create space. Got that kind of mid-range on autopilot. So it's a big challenge. We're going to need a lot of guys to sit down and really work and try to guard those 2 guys tonight.
Coach Nurse, tell us about that first pitch, man. How was that, brother?
It was okay. It was okay. It was the second time I'd done it. I did it in Wrigley Field one time too. I worked, played catch for a couple weeks leading into it, so I didn't want to injure myself. I was thinking first thing, no injury.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So it was okay, and then they promised me I was going to get a warm up on the field before I went out there, but that didn't happen. So then I decided to dial down, my how much energy I was going to exert on that, and I got out there and I looked down, and the catcher was the mascot, the Philly Fanatic.
Yeah, you don't have no
Yes, I thought I
injury.
did it. Yeah, I threw a 26 mile an hour fastball in there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
All right, everybody, enjoy the game.